You're listening and watching the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mozette, and here is your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mozette. Welcome to episode 519 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. As your Seattle Seahawks get ready to take on the Atlanta Falcons. And what can I say? There's just no Falcon way that the Seahawks are going to lose Monday night. Let's meet the posse for this episode. First, the yin to my yang, Matt from merry old England. Hi, Matt.
Hello, Moses. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you, Matt?
Well, I've just taken another couple of Cocodamol tablets over here to deal with some pain relief, so I'm officially off my tits.
Yay!
All right.
All right.
Everybody's happy that Matt is off his tits. Someone I hope is not off his tits is our newshound Shadowhawk, Will. Hi, Will.
Hey, Moses. How are you?
I'm good. How are your, how are you doing?
Unlike Matt, I am on my tits, so all is good.
Actually, it sounds like he's on his toilet, because that sounds like his bathroom. All of that is.
No. But
Yeah, you sound a little distant.
I'm in the
there.
kitchen, not in the bathroom.
All right,
Okay.
fair enough. Well, while Will's cooking up our Thanksgiving dinner, of course, we have Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing?
I'm doing well, looking to get us banned from YouTube like we talked about, so this will be good.
Should be a lot of fun.
I'm surprised it's taken this long, to be honest.
No doubt.
We'll see what happens. And, of course, our man from behind enemy lines is Stats Man Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
What do you know, sir?
Well, you know, it's always good to be on the show. Unfortunately, that means from a business standpoint that,
Yeah.
still looking to fill a few hours. There are currently more tokens going out than coming in. But I did catch a break last week. I won 1,000 tokens or $100 on a two-team teaser of Detroit. Oh, my God, putting money on Detroit and the Rams.
Wow.
I'm sorry, guys. So I
desperate.
When's the last time that happened?
oh, boy. So something finally came through,
Man, I tell you, Matt being off his tits and you betting on the Rams and the Lions. Crazy.
Yeah, it's desperate times.
It is desperate times. It's been a long time since we had a football game to talk about, so we will have an actual Atlanta Falcons football game and Seattle Seahawks football game to talk about in this episode of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, how does this show work? Michael Bolton.
Boys, let's get to it.
That's right, let's get to it. This show's broken into 4 quarters and halftime. First quarter, we do have news from our Shadowhawk Will. Second quarter, we have Seahawk roster moves. We usually talk about the game last week. There was no game last week. So we're going to talk about the impact that some Seahawk roster moves may have on your Seattle Seahawks through now and the end of the season. Also, we'll be very thankful at the 2-minute warning of the first half. We're going to tell you what we are sharing our thanks for in this very thankful time of year. At halftime, it's the best Seahawk team to play a long game on the internet. 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
Of the world.
of the world. And Matt is what, 3 in a row, Matt? 2 in a row?
No, I won last week.
Oh, that's
I
right.
say
None in a row.
Will won last week. I didn't
Will
win
won last week, so none in a row for Matt. Congratulations, Will. Looking to repeat.
Thank you.
Yes. Quarter 3, of course, weather, injuries, and numbers on that game between your Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons. Also, how to tell if you might be a Falcon fan. And, of course, we put all that together and we make our predictions, our game balls, and our prognostications at the fourth quarter. Before we start, we'd like to remind you to please like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook group. We have a great game day thread on there. We'll have one Monday night. Basically me rambling on and people making fun of me. We're also
Sounds great to
Twitter.
me.
Yeah.
We're on
It's
Twitter.
It really is just a list of things that people that are better at stuff that Moses, can think of. That's all it comes up to.
That's
now.
pretty much it. Every week it's somebody. This person is better than this at that. Yeah. And then we're also on Twitter and email. But before we start the show, I would like to do a quick shout out.
Hey, can I do a shout out? Shout out.
A quick shout out to Brewhead, Bruhed, who apparently listens to the show. And if you listen to our show
Oh, he's the
last
one.
episode,
What?
he's the one. Episode 518, one of Will's news stories was about a strange injury of a football player. And that led Matt to tell us all a story about a singer in England who apparently ran himself over with his own car. So Brewhead apparently said, he said, great episode as usual, thank you. He said, I had to look up Maddie's story about Brian Harvey. He was close on the details, which are bizarre. And he sent us this story, and I just want to share, this is a fascinating story. I know this is a football show, but when you're talking about a guy running himself over with his own car, I mean, you know,
You
how
made
can
time
you just
for that.
How can you look away, right? So this is from the UK, I think, Daily Mail. Is that right, Matt?
Oh my goodness gracious! I already feel the tones going down. Yeah.
All right. This is just paraphrased. This is from 2005, so it's been a while. Troubled reality TV star Brian Harvey has provided an astonishing explanation for the bizarre and terrifying accident in which he was run over by his own Mercedes, claiming it was caused by a meal of baked potatoes. We'll get back to this.
What?
We'll get back to this. Apparently, he leaned out of the driver's door to get sick because he had eaten so much, and the Mercedes rolled over him. He fractured his pelvis in 7 places, broke his ribs, punctured his lungs. Unconscious for 3 weeks, had to endure 12 hours of surgery. I guess he's fine. I don't know.
And a
He's
partridge
fine.
in
No,
a
he's
pear
actually
tree.
fine. He's unemployed, but he's fine.
Okay. He had been at home when he overindulged on his favorite snack, which we're going to get to in a minute, called jacket potatoes. And hold on. He said, I was starving, so I baked 3 jacket potatoes and stuffed them down. They were big. I put cheese on and tuna mayonnaise
Oh.
and ate a lot.
You
He
love
then
it.
attempted to
Tuna
drive to a
mayonnaise.
friend's house but got sick.
Oh.
There wasn't room to turn around, so I came to stop, put the car in reverse. Then I felt sick, took off my seatbelt, opened the door, went to be sick. Instead of keeping my foot on the brake, it slipped to the accelerator. The Mercedes careened into another car, and the jolt sent him out the door and onto the road. I was caught between my driver's door and a wall, and the car was going backwards, and I was forced underneath. So, I won't give you the gruesome details. However, 2 things pop up in this story that we in America, I think, are a little perplexed about. So I think it's time once again for another episode of Speaking British with Matt. And now, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show proudly presents Speaking British with Matt. Yeah, Speaking British with Matt. We're here with Matt from merry old England. Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Yes. 2 questions in this story, and the first is, what the hell is a jacket potato?
Well, it's that thing where a midget wears a coat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like a sex act, maybe.
Uh,
No,
Matt
it's a
Urban
baked
Dictionary.
potato. So it's just a baked potato. So it's just a potato cooked in its skin.
So that's a jacket potato? So the
Jacket
jacket is the
potato.
skin.
Yeah, jacket potato. Yep.
So
Baked
if you skin your potatoes, your basic jacket off is what you're doing.
Yeah, you're practicing unsafe potato eating.
Okay. So, but okay, the cheese I get. Now this is the second part. And I'm going to tell you something. I am not a fan of tuna. I'll eat tuna, but I don't like
I
it.
don't do any fish at all for various
But I will
reasons.
tell you, mayonnaise to me is the antichrist of condiments. I cannot stand those 2 things together. Reading that made me completely. What the hell is tuna mayonnaise?
Well, I'm gonna shock the hell out of you now. Tuna mayonnaise is actually tuna and mayonnaise.
No.
Yeah, it is mixed together is
Mind
one
blown.
thing. I know it's
Oh.
incredible. It's incredible, but it's not really mayonnaise. Well, I suppose it is. It's not like Belgian mayonnaise. It's not like proper European mayonnaise. It's normally the White Hellman's type of cheapy type of mayonnaise, and it's just mixed together, and it does go very well with a jacket potato.
And you put that on a potato.
Yes.
What
Not
else do
with
you guys
cheese,
put
though.
on potatoes?
Not
That's
with
gross.
cheese. If you're putting cheese and tuna on it, I just think you're a
Oh.
dirty bastard, to be honest. Vile. But he's Brian Harvey, so you know. allowed
That's
to get
how we
away
do
with that
tuna
sort of
fish. You put the mayonnaise in there, mix it up, throw it on bread.
Well, see,
Yeah.
people do that. No, to me that is like that's a vomit machine to me. Now, if you like mayonnaise, fine. Mayonnaise to me is the anti-condiment of all time.
But you're just absolutely right. You just said it's the vomit machine for you. It was for Brian Harvey. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
he was driving an automatic
Yeah.
Mercedes at the same
Yeah.
time.
He had 3 of them
So-
things.
so
How big is
it's-
this guy?
Don't eat jacket potatoes with tuna mayonnaise and drive. Okay,
That's-
designate
yeah.
someone.
Although
Don't
you
eat-
can, although like Brian Harvey, you can do it over here because he got all of that health sorted out without having to pay a penny.
Oh, really?
Wow,
Wow.
that's cool.
That's pretty convenient. That's a whole nother discussion, isn't it?
Yeah, I got a whole different question now. Then, Dennis, when you eat tuna fish, what do you don't mix with anything?
I
You
don't
just open the
usually eat
can,
tuna
drain
fish.
it, and you what?
I don't usually eat it.
Oh, okay.
He spreads it all over himself whilst whispering names.
When I have
and then calls the cat.
in the past,
The
when I have
cat.
had
No,
tuna
please
fish-
change subject. Change subject. Don't
When
don't
I've
picture
had
this.
tuna fish, I would just take it out, put it on a piece of bread, and eat it. But that was like when I was like in
Not
high
allowed
school.
to go back
That
to the
was-
docks.
Yeah. All right, jacket potatoes and
Tuna mayo.
mayonnaise, and a guy run himself over. I think we actually have a football
Only
game
in
show here
Britain.
somewhere.
Oh, can I just say as well, listeners, don't read the Daily Mail. Do yourselves a favour. Don't read the Daily Mail.
Go Hawks.
Go
Don't.
Hawks.
Yeah.
That was
Don't
a-
read
that
the
was a
Daily
British health
Mail.
warning.
Go Hawks. Hey, hey, I got an idea. Let's hear some real NFL news. Let's go to the news report. All right. Oh, I'm so sorry, Will. Yeah, the first quarter news. It's a 12th man Fan Jam show news report with news of the NFL worth mentioning. Will, how can you top tuna mayo?
Well,
The bread.
going
bread,
from
yeah.
going from tuna mayonnaise to glory holes.
Of course.
Two of America's favorite things.
Yes, it's Jerry Jones and Roger Goodell, and an already difficult
boy.
year for the NFL getting even more so. Of course, Jones and Goodell have been feuding rather publicly ever since Ezekiel Elliott was first suspended, which, by the way, he has lost his appeals. He is now serving his suspension, and naturally, he's coming back just in time for the Seahawks game. Damn it.
Yep.
Anyway, apparently some of Jones' fellow owners are not happy with his conduct of late. He apparently, according to the New York Times, received a letter from some of his fellow owners saying that his, quote, antics amount to conduct detrimental to the league's best interests. Apparently, the league has no quarrel with Jones' position regarding Goodell's upcoming contract renewal, but they object to the manner in which he's addressed the issue, doing it publicly, leaking information, the whole Papa John's thing, etc. Apparently, Jones could, if he continues, face fines, forfeiture of draft picks, a suspension, and even, apparently, there's a provision in Article 8 of the NFL's Constitution that says a franchise can be forfeited in the event of conduct detrimental to the league.
Oh my.
So while extremely unlikely, it is at least possible that they could take the Dallas Cowboys away from Jerry Jones, who apparently, when he first learned of Ezekiel Elliott's suspension, said, quote, in regards to Goodell, "I'm going to come after you with everything I have. If you think Bob Kraft came after you hard, Bob Kraft is a pussy compared to what I'm going to do."
Whoa! Whoa, Jerry!
Jerry.
The Cold War between Jones and Goodell is heating up awfully fast.
Man.
Stay tuned.
Oh my
Tuna
God.
mayonnaise. Man.
Oh my God.
Woo! Mercy.
You know what, guys? This is the kind of stuff that we typically only see in the movies or on television. This is so awesome. I mean, it's just it's beyond anything. I mean, this whole year it's like Idiocracy meets the NFL. It's incredible.
The next season of Ballers is going to be about this. Watch with that show on HBO with The Rock.
It
Wow.
wouldn't surprise me, actually.
No,
He
that
seems to
Vegas
like
move made
selling
it in
a
there.
ring. Just let Jerry and Roger settle it in a ring. I would be alright with that.
But it's odd as well because he just has that stuff come out about some racist comments that he also had to make
Right.
and had to apologise for that as well. So I don't know. I think Jerry Jones is obviously he's speaking a good fight, but there's a lot of people that suddenly prepared to start leaking and releasing
Yeah.
news about Mr. Jones. So I can't wait for those glory hole diaries to come out because they're coming.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, here's
Well-
the shocker. He is not the most clean cut guy behind the scenes. Who thought? Who knew?
What?
And
What?
didn't he have pictures come out a couple years ago with some very young girls?
Yes, he did.
Oh,
As a
yeah.
matter of
Oof.
fact.
Allegedly.
Well, the
No, the pictures happen.
pictures
Hold
happen.
on. I'm in Britain.
Any-
Hold on, I'm
any
in Britain, so I
behavior
don't
was
care.
alleged. I'm just saying, though, with the current environment going on and practically every other famous person being accused of sexual harassment or sexual assault lately, that would, if somebody's wanting to shut Jones up and there is a similar skeleton in Jones' past, that would be the way to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is going
But
to get interesting.
it's getting nastier and nastier.
Woo!
And this is everything the league does not want after all the anthem controversy,
Oh,
everything
yeah.
else going on this year.
You've got to say, the league is going to want 2017 to end as fast as possible. Do you know what I
Amen.
mean? It's like,
Yep.
can we just get rid of this whole year and start
Yeah.
again, please?
Yeah,
But
and,
then-
Browns
Yeah, but-
fans are feeling the same.
Well, yes, every year they felt that every year since.
yeah, and if those pics of Jera and Tony get leaked, excuse me.
Well, I mean, that's the real reason he left. He
Oh,
wasn't
Lord.
faking injuries. He just had to get away from Jerry Jones.
Oh, he was injured.
Glory hole.
Yeah.
He was
Wow.
injured.
Well, what else you got for us, Will?
Well, an optimistic take on the future CBA coming from somebody who is known to speak his mind, namely Richie Incognito.
Yeah.
The general consensus among players and several league observers is that the players pretty much got hosed in the collective bargaining agreement that was agreed to in 2011. The next one is the next round of negotiations is slated for 2021, and Richie Incognito is not feeling optimistic. As far as the CBA goes, he said, I think that we got hosed the last time we negotiated, and I think we're going to get hosed again as players. I think we're just going to be taken out behind the woodshed again. Maybe not the best choice of words coming from Incognito, but,
No doubt.
Right.
Yeah, really.
but he said, hopefully through the next CBA, we can come out with some clear and concise plan for a lot of different things, suspensions, punishments, if Commissioner Goodell is going to give up some power. So, note, Incognito is yet another player who is dissatisfied with the state of affairs between the players' union and the league, and there's more evidence that a work stoppage in 2021 is looking more and more likely.
Great.
Yeah, it might not be that long, to be honest, because if this whole thing with Colin Kaepernick turns out to be true with that collusion thing, that gives the NFLPA grounds to go ahead and sue to redo the CBA, apparently. I was reading about that the other day, so that's why part of why the players' union's backing him.
I
No,
think Richie,
it's
I
certainly
think
possible.
I think Richie Incognito should be incredibly thankful for the fact that he's even a player to be considering first place. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a
Yes,
case of
I
he should
do.
shut up and get on with whatever he's given, because I'd have thrown his ass out of the league, about 4 times over, especially in 2013.
Yeah. He was quite a member of our show. And was that 2020? Is that when or is it 2021? What'd you say, Will?
2021, I think.
Wow.
I think 2020 would be another uncapped year like 2010 was if it goes that long.
Oh
Yeah,
crap! I got to start on our fill of material now for 2021 because we don't have games.
Well,
I don't know how many games we can play on this show, but
this is 4 years away, right? So, I
Yeah.
mean, so many things are going to happen between now and then. I mean, the way the league is going, the way the revenue's going. I mean, the league grew so much so fast, it was bound to take a big hit,
Yeah.
And hopefully all the weirdness of this year just goes away because it's so tiresome. God.
Well, and the TV contracts are going to be interesting too because ESPN's losing money hand over fist.
Yep.
There's no way they're going to keep Monday Night Football.
Yep.
What kind of TV deal are they going to be able to negotiate?
Yeah, I think the price is going to come down. This might be the first time it doesn't. It's been like a
Wow.
billion or 2 billion or whatever minimum for some of this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, there's a good chance at that point to take out Thursday Night Football then.
I'd be
That'd
happy
be
for that.
hallelujah.
I'd be all for it.
I think a lot of people
Yeah.
go for that. Well, we'll see. That's still 4 years away. So we do have actually football to talk about on this show that's Seahawk related coming up. But Will, thank you for the news.
Anytime, Moses.
And that's the end of the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
All right, coming up on this episode of 12 Man Fan Jam Show, lots of football show left. How you can tell if you're a Falcons fan, halftime trivia. Coming up next, we review the recent Seahawk roster changes and moves, and we're going to give thanks. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Yes! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Yeah, it's the second quarter of episode 519 of your 12-Man Fan Jam show. We're going to talk about some roster moves since the Seahawks last played, which feels like 3 years ago. But there have been some roster moves. Of course, we all know the biggest news, CJ Procise on IR. No, I'm kidding. Richard Sherman.
Shocked, I tell you.
for the first time in what I heard, for the first time in actually 2,500 days to the day that they played a game without Richard Sherman or something like that, they'll be playing a game without Richard Sherman. So it's pretty crazy. A big loss, he ruptured his Achilles, out for the rest of the year, obviously. Statsman Mark, how does this change the dynamic of the Seahawk defense?
Well, it takes a secondary that's already been challenged at times, and I don't know. It's a huge loss. There's no way around it. But what can you do? I think we talked about it maybe last show, that what got me when I read comments that he was kind of waiting for this to happen. But again, I guess you just play through. I meant they're not going to sit him on the sideline, and it finally popped. But it's a huge loss. I guess we'll see. I guess Lane will take his place. We'll probably get more into that later. But it's going to be really interesting. Because what will be interesting is Sherman's replacement, I think, may end up getting picked on more than like Shaquille Griffin, and Griffin's a rookie. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic. Maybe Griffin kind of assumes more of a, I don't know, gets into a little bit of a leadership role with what's going on there. But it's a tough break for the defense.
Yeah, of course it is. Dustin, I know that how big is this injury to Sherman?
Well, that's pretty huge, and something that just kind of caught my ear to hear Mark talk about that was saying that Sherman was saying, that he knew it was going to happen. And that's just kind of an interesting mentality to me. That just kind of speaks towards the competitiveness of that team and those guys. Mm-hmm. He knew that if he kept playing, his Achilles was going to rupture. And instead of waiting it out and not playing, he was like, no, I'm just going to go with it. Just going out there helping the team. That's a special kind of mentality, knowing you're going to injure yourself pretty bad, still be willing to go out and do it. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, you got. I don't know if I admire that or not, but that's that's tough. But yeah, having him gone it's a huge loss.
Yeah.
And but here's the thing: we did really well in the draft this year, even though at the time I didn't think we did. I thought it was kind of weird that we drafted the way we did, but they brought in a lot of depth. And it's not like we're going from losing or the drop off this year isn't as bad as it was last year when we lost these guys. We brought in more talent, so I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think. And it kind of reminds me of my kids' football team, honestly, because last year we had some players that were just super athletes, right? And everybody counted on them to make plays. Well, this year we didn't have those kids. It was the guys that weren't counted on to make plays, and they just the way they bonded and they melded together. We actually had a much better team because of how everybody played together and fit together. Mm-hmm. You weren't looking at one guy to be the guy; everybody was the guy this year, and we actually did a lot better. So I'm hoping the Seahawks kind of have the same thing where they play better as a team on defense, because they're going to have new focus, and they're going to have to be much more proactive in the communication. They can't just assume that everybody knows what they're going to do, kind of like what they did with Cam and Earl and Sherm, where they knew things were going to happen. So the new guys out there are going to have to do their thing. They're going to have to communicate, and hopefully it works out well.
Yeah. Will, this is still very much a very talented defense, right?
It is. And like Dustin was saying, are better. We've got Shaquille Griffin. I made a post on Thursday. I was talking about how grateful I was that Jeremy Lane had actually failed his physical with the Texans,
right?
In the Dwayne Brown trade, and ended up back here. So that's going to help. Brought back Byron Maxwell. We'll see about him, but at least he knows the system. So whatever he is able to contribute, you got to figure it won't be much of an adjustment period coming back to where he's had his most success. So we've got depth, maybe a little challenged a bit with the news about Cam Chancellor in addition to Sherman, but you can't replace Sherman. I mean, the guy is an all-pro, future Hall of Fame cornerback, and this is it's another situation where the rest of the defense is going to have to step up, and that defensive line particularly needs to say, look, it's more on us now. We've got to do a good job of getting pressure, getting sacks, and taking the pressure off of the secondary.
Yep.
That's exactly right. Matt, What are your thoughts on this? End of the world, or are we still
No,
okay?
no. It's not the end of the world. I think what this does really, it opens up one side of the field, which previously has probably been shut down for most quarterbacks, unless, of course, your name is Deshaun Watson. I guess you're going to throw at him anyway. But I think it does. It means that the whole team has to adjust. I think what we should remember though is that Sherman isn't being placed in cryogenic freeze for the next several
Right.
years. He's going to be in the team. He's going to be around the locker room. He's still going to be
Yes.
giving advice. He's still going to be mentoring Griffin. He's still going to be doing all the
Absolutely.
things that those intangibles that happen off the field itself. He's just not there to be able to be that threat. I think there are questions to be had about our secondary. Thomas is almost certainly going to retire. 2019 or something, 2018, 2019 I think is his last year, but I think he's moving towards retirement. Cam's got a stinger, but as we've said, we've got depth coming up there. But I think don't lose sight of the intangibles of Richard Sherman. He's not
Right.
vanished off the face of the planet. He's still a leader. He's still offering his support to the team.
Good point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you look at this team without Richard Sherman, and no, you can't replace Richard Sherman, we still have this amazing front line. We have a linebacking core I'd put against any linebacking core in the NFL. We've got the best safety in football. We've got a rookie that really should have played at Florida but didn't because of his brother. So, I mean, let's be honest. He's a top-flight blue-chip prospect at defensive back. I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be, I mean, obviously can't replace Richard, but there's a lot of talent still out there. This brings us to Jose, who has a question for us every week. And now, Jose, he wants to know something.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
All right, here's what Jose wants to know. We'll just real quick go through this, guys. He wants to ask each of you how many of the posse think Sherman is going to be back at all. Zorny? Starts with Mark. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny. Excuse me. Boy.
Choked you up, didn't it?
I'm as emotional as Richard right now. You know what? Initially, I think it's his last game. I think I've even posted it as much, but now it wouldn't surprise me. So I'm going to say that I think the team wants him back, and I think he wants to come back. I think he does play another year in Seattle now. So I've kind of flipped on this one.
All right, Will, your thoughts?
I think as a result, he could end up playing more than one more year here, just because they want some cap relief there. They're not going to find a trading partner for him next year, so I believe he will be on the roster next year. I don't think they just release him, and if they want to get cap relief with him on the roster, one way to do that would be to give him a short extension if they feel his Achilles, if he's recovering from his Achilles injury, extend him maybe a year or two, spread out the cap hit, and he could end up playing here another couple of years.
Yeah, good. Matt, next year, have we done seeing Sherman play for the Seahawks?
No, I don't think so. I think no player wants to sort of their career, if you like, on the back of an injury. They want to be able to sort of go out with a bit of style on that one. So I don't think that's going to be his last year. He's determined to come back. I'm pretty sure of that. And I agree with Will. I think actually, he's probably going to be here until the end of his career. But that's not this year.
Yeah. Dustin?
I think, barring any type of complications from his surgery, that he'll be back and playing, and he'll be just fine, and he'll be with the Seahawks. I imagine that they have a vision kind of a bunch of those guys from the LOB kind of retiring at the same time. So we'll see if Sherman can jump in there, and him and Earl maybe have a joint press conference.
All right. I agree with you. I think he's going to definitely come back. All right. Let's go ahead and go to the 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning!
2-minute warning usually in the second quarter is when we look at how we did our predictions from the game before, but of course there's no game before, so we are going to do something a little different since Thanksgiving is coming to us here in America on this coming Thursday. I thought it would be a good chance for us to kind of kick back and talk about what we are all thankful for. So we'll start with Stats and Mark. Stats and Mark, what are you thankful for?
Yes, lots of things. I'm grateful that while I may never know their Christian names, I've made new friends over the internet. and once in a while they text, so I really know they care.
Beautiful, man.
Oh, that made me cry almost. I think I'm one of those.
And beyond that, despite everything going on, I'm always grateful for football season. Although this is like Idiocracy 2017.
Right.
That's all.
Good. Will, what are you thankful for?
Well, Moses, there are a few things that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that Blaine Gabbert is not starting for my team this Sunday.
Oh my God.
I'm thankful that I do not have CJ Prosice's ankles.
Yes.
Nice.
No doubt.
And I'm thankful that we go another year before seeing the Color Rush uniforms.
Yay! That's all
Which
to be thankful
I
for.
actually like the uniforms themselves. It's just the all green is a bit much. If you could have a
I'm
bit
with
more blue in there to contrast, it
If
would
they
help a lot.
stopped if they stopped at the knees, I'd be happier. And that's what she said. Matt, what are you
Hello.
thankful for?
Well, you see, we don't have all this thankfulness over here in the UK, so it's
Yeah,
very
I
difficult. But I've got an idea. First of all, I'm very thankful that we managed to export all those Puritans to America. I think that's a good place for them to be.
Nice.
I'm also thankful that the alternative logo hasn't caught on.
Yes!
Yes.
Because
Oh, yeah.
it looks like a constipated ostrich, and I don't care what
Yes.
anyone says. It's hideous. I'm also thankful that my country this year has banned the sale of all elephant ivory and associated trophies. I'm also,
Ouch.
and finally, I'm also thankful for KYJ and KY jelly and Vaseline, but that's for various other reasons.
Oh!
Oh.
Okay, well.
Moving on.
Moving on, Justin, quickly.
Wait, is there stock up? Sorry.
If it's not up, I'm not using it, Nessa.
Justin, what are you thankful for?
Oh. Oh goodness.
I will.
Well, I'm thankful that Matt is done.
I was saying,
Yes.
Justin is thankful he gets to follow Matt.
Hi,
Yeah,
Dustin.
yeah. Hey.
Yes, he's thankful he has Matt behind him. Oh, wait.
Whoa.
This is too much. I love it.
What's the over under on
In
that?
the tournament. All right. Justin. what are you
Yep,
thankful
banned from
for?
YouTube.
Oh,
Oh.
there he goes.
I had some stuff to say. It's mostly not that clever.
Obviously.
The one thing I will say.
Same old, same old.
Yeah, same old, same old. Mostly what I'm thankful for is that my shows are back on TV because I was getting tired of watching all the shit my wife likes to watch.
Ooh,
Oh.
we'll fix that in post.
Yeah. So that's mostly what I'm thankful for. And then I'm thankful for friends that I have that know how to build things. Like I have
There's a
Like
story.
Legos,
I
and,
don't know what
Legos
Yeah.
and Lincoln Logs?
yeah, dude, Lincoln Logs, they're the best. No, I have a friend who I paid $80. He made this game emulator for me, and it holds like all the games from Nintendo, from Sega, from all those different gaming systems. $80. Whereas that Nintendo one,
Geek check. Sorry, what?
I didn't catch that one either. And you use wireless controllers with your like Xbox 360 controllers. Way better than that Nintendo shit they were shopping last Christmas for $130. Yeah, and like 30 games.
Yeah.
Oh, this is way better. So that's what I'm thankful for.
All right. That leaves me to clean up everything.
Clean up this mess.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thankful. I'm thankful.
He's got
I
to
don't
clean up that
do
KY.
Yeah.
Let there.
I'm thankful that that I didn't follow Matt. I'm thankful I don't root for the Browns. I'm thankful my team's owner is not Jerry Jones. I'm thankful that Jacksonville Jaguars felt the need to draft a punter in the third round of the 2012 draft, right before we took Russell. But speaking of which, I'm thankful Russell is short because I'm not sure we would have gotten him in the third round if he wasn't. I'm actually thankful for Jim Moore because if he hadn't sucked, we might not have ever gotten Pete Carroll. And finally, I'm thankful we hired Pete Carroll after USC, not Pete Carroll before USC. All right. Now
There
let's
you
get
go.
to halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime!
I'm thankful for you guys too, you know.
Aww.
Really, because he couldn't get anyone else to do this bloody show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's thankful somebody actually said yes.
Yeah,
Somebody
I'm sure there was a lot of
Friday
no's
night
first.
Friday
I'm
night
just glad I know everybody's real name here. It's so refreshing.
Or do you?
Aha. Hey, we got so much more show coming up. Can the Seahawks win on Monday night? Will the Falcons win? Are you ready for some football? All these answers and more just around the corner. But first, another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. Coming up next.
Hi, I'm Rosette, and you're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another wonderful edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
Of the world!
The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Will, Matt, Mark, and Dustin, and here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show Trivia Champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, gentlemen, you know the rules. You can ask the kids once per 2 rounds. And the topics, obviously, Monday Night Football, Richard Sherman, and the Falcons and Seahawks. Just all mishmashed all in there. So our champion last time was Will. So, Will, you get to pick first. You want 1, 2, 3, or 4?
2, please.
Will takes 2. We will then go with Matt.
3, please.
Matt goes with 3. We will then go with Dustin.
Whichever the last one is.
That would be 4.
I'm going to go with 4.
I hope it's not math for you. And Statsman Mark, you're leading off.
I am leading off with my 125 batting average. Okay, here we go.
All right, you either got Monday Night Football, Falcons, Richard Sherman, or something weird. All right, here we go. Yours is actually it's a Monday Night Football game. The very first time the Seahawks played the Falcons on Monday Night Football, long time ago, if you remember. Efren Herrera with that crazy fake kick winner. How many times in that game did Falcon quarterback, are you ready? Steve Bartkowski get sacked?
Wow.
Steve Bartkowski got sacked. How many times? 1, 2, or 3, and dance.
Oh, wow. So this is, are you telling me the year? Or did you?
I can't tell you the year.
You can't tell me the year. Okay.
I want to say 78, 79 maybe.
Right.
I think it's 79.
Okay, which is before Jacob Green. Ooh, I'm sharp tonight.
Yeah.
You know what? It's time to celebrate just like Kool and the Gang told me to, so I'm going to go with 3 sacks.
Kool and the Gang? Kool and the Gang reference.
We're going to have a good time tonight. Yes. Let's boogaloo to
That
the puke.
is like the creepiest damn thing you've ever said on this show. Which
is saying quite a bit.
Yeah.
3. He said 3. Little Mo said 1. Mosette said 2. You said 3. Nah. No party for you. It was 2. Damn,
well.
Kool and the Gang.
Mosette wasn't even alive when they played that game.
Me either.
That's true. She got it right. Will.
Yes, sir.
What NFL division has had the most Monday Night Football appearances? Would that be the AFC East, the NFC East, or the NFC North? Which division in the NFL has the most Monday Night Football appearances? AFC East, NFC North.
Is that just since all the divisions were realigned, or?
I don't think so. I think it's in the history. I think they moved with them. Like, if the Dolphins had 20 appearances, then they added them up. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go NFC East.
And the reason I say that is because the winner has 296. I don't think since the alignment that anyone would have that many.
Well, they put the Cowboys on primetime an awful lot.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
Yeah.
So you're going with the NFC East?
Yep.
Okay. Little Mo also went with the NFC East. Mosette went with the NFC North. You went with the NFC East. Yeah! 296. And you get a point. All right, Matt.
Yes.
Your question is about Richard Sherman.
Ooh.
What college did? No.
Stanford.
Yeah, that I could have got.
We have a chance to say, Richard Sherman, I know you're listening. We wish you well, and we hope you heal back quickly and safely, and best wishes. Richard Sherman, what overall pick was Richard Sherman in the 2011 draft? Was he pick 154, 156, or 158?
He was 154.
Wow! Whoa!
Damn!
There's
Well,
smoke in my ears.
he named that tune in 1 second.
Man! Well, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you what the kid... Well, Mosette said 154. Lil Mo said 158. You said 154. Yeah, you knew it. Matt nailed that one. All right. Good job, Matt.
Thanks.
Dustin.
Yeah.
We're going back to Monday Night Football, that first game again against the Falcons in 79 or 78.
Yeah, it was -2 or 3. It's time.
Yeah. Well, there was a pretty good defensive back that played for the Seahawks named Dave Brown. How many times did Dave Brown intercept Falcon quarterback Steve Bartkowski? Once, twice, or 3 times a lady. Dance! 1, 2, or 3. How many interceptions did Brown have against Bartkowski?
Hello?
Dustin? Are you there?
Apparently. I responded, apparently I was out of range. I said we already had 2 as an answer, so I'm going to say 1.
You said 1, did you?
I did.
Mosette said 1. Little Mo said 3. You said 1. Now, it was 2. It was 2. All right, so now I'll stand Will and Matt with a point. Dustin and Mark with no points, which means we go to round 2. And 5 through 8, we will start with Will.
7, please.
Will wants 7. Matt.
8, please.
Matt wants 8. Dustin.
6.
Dustin, and that means we have Mark once again leading off. All right, Mark.
Yes, sir.
You were at this game. This is last year when they played the Falcons. We had our live show, and Little Mo came up, got his first win as a Seahawk fan in Seattle, which was very exciting.
Just barely.
Yeah, well, don't tell him that. Last season when the Seahawks played the Falcons in Seattle, who had the most receiving yards for the Seahawks? Was it Jimmy Graham, Jermaine Kearse, or Tyler Lockett? Dance! Graham, Kearse, or Lockett, who had the most receiving yards for Seattle in that game?
Graham, Kearse, or Lockett. Damn it.
Damn it did not play. Damn it was injured.
Graham.
Who was on first?
Graham? Yes.
Mosette said Graham. And Little Mo said Kearse. But you said Graham. Yeah, it was Jimmy Graham, 89 yards.
You know what? Thank goodness I got that one right because I was at the game, so I feel a little bit more pressure.
A little bit more pressure. I had no idea until I looked it up. So, Dustin.
Yeah.
Yours is about Richard Sherman.
I know him.
Oh, good. Hey, as a member of his high school track team, he won the California state title in what event? The long jump, the triple jump, or the hurdles? Richard Sherman, state champ. Long jump, triple jump, or hurdles?
My guess would be long jump.
Your guess would be
Actually, no, he's kind of tall. I'd say hurdles. I'll go hurdles. Switched it up. I didn't say final answer.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
You're going hurdles?
Yeah,
Mo went hurdles. Mosette went triple jump.
Now.
You went hurdles? Yeah, it's triple jump.
Well, at least I didn't say that in the first place, right? I said long jump.
That's true.
So.
That's true.
You would have gotten it wrong anyway. So
Yeah. Either way.
That's all right. You got both wrong answers.
Yeah, cool.
that takes some doing. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Hey, Will.
Yes, sir.
Another historical Monday Night Football question. Who has scored the most points in one game on Monday Night Football? Was it the Colts, the Eagles, or the 49ers? They're 1, 2, and 3, by the way. Who scored the most points in one game on Monday Night Football? Colts, Eagles, or 49ers? All of them in the 50s, too. So,
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like the 1950s? That's
No.
No, the 2050s. We're doing future history.
Yeah, it was our old friend Johnny U.
They're actually pretty recent, but
I can remember.
Colts,
Okay.
Eagles, or 49ers. Who scored the most points in one game on Monday Night Football?
I'm gonna go with Peyton Manning. I'll say
I'll go
Colts.
Peyton. He picked the Colts as his answer. Mosette picked the Eagles. Little Mo picked the 49ers. You picked the Colts. That was the Eagles. Eagles at 59. Colts at 55.
Was that
49ers
the,
at 52.
was that the Washington game?
Yes,
When they played the
2010
Redskins.
against the Redskins.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
remember that game.
Oh,
It was a massive
yeah, that
score.
one. Okay.
Yeah, that one. Remember the Seahawks scored 42 against the Eagles
In one half.
in 2005.
Yeah.
All right. Matt,
Mm.
back to our game last year when the Seahawks played the Falcons in Seattle. Who had the most sacks for the Seahawks? Cliff Averill, Cassius Marsh, or Jerron Reed? They all had one. Somebody had two. Cliff Averill, Cassius Marsh, or
Well,
Jerron Reed?
I will ask the kids because I haven't asked the kids yet, so
Okay.
I'll do that.
Mosette said Cliff Averill. Little Mo said Cassius Marsh. Nobody said Jerron Reed.
I'll go with Cliff.
Go with Cliff. You go off the cliff
I'll go off the cliff.
with Mosette.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cliff Averill.
Yeah.
2
Hey,
points
Matt
for
knows his sex.
Little note here.
That's true.
Matt knows the sacks. That's true, but also I also wanted to share real quick. Mosette was 6 for 8 today in the quiz.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, she was on fire.
Better than we
so-
could do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Matt with 2, Will with 1, Mark with 1, Dustin with 0. Gentlemen,
Yes.
you know what time it is?
Start your engines.
It's
Wait, what?
time for the final question. All right. Final question is a number high-low. The closest one without going over gets the points, and in all likelihood, unless it's Dustin, we will not have overtime. The order is Dustin, Mark, Will, and then Matt.
Hmm?
And it is a number, gentlemen. And here is your question, Dustin. Last season when the Seahawks played the Falcons in Seattle, 26-24, I think was the score. How many total yards of offense were there for both teams combined? Add them together.
Oof.
Carry the one. And
I
how
thought
many
you said
yards
there
of
was to
offense?
be no math.
Isn't it?
Well, I said I hope there's no math.
That's
for
only in
Dustin.
the normal lives.
Unfortunately, there's math.
I love it.
I feel like it's bullshit.
Oh no.
Well, cry
And
me
you're
a
talking
river.
to a teacher.
I'm aware. Believe me, I'm aware. I don't know, 524 yards combined. 528 yards. How about that?
Keeps changing his mind. I love him. It's great.
Are you sure?
I don't know, man.
It's only an hour show.
I know. 528. I'll go 528.
Are you
That's
sure?
probably low, so yeah, I should
Yeah, I'm
probably
ready,
go
I'm
higher.
ready.
It's locked in.
I'm gonna do
528.
this. I'm gonna do this.
Mark, combined offense yardage for both the Seahawks and the Falcons last year.
Well, we knew Atlanta, boy, at one point they had 3 straight scoring drives or something. I mean, it just got crazy in the second half. So let's see. I'm going to say, I think it was actually it was a decent amount. So I'm going to say 750.
Sue, 750.
Ooh.
Will?
I will go 871.
God.
Okay. 528, 750, 871. Matt?
Oh, this is why. I'll go 600.
Okay. 528, 600, 750, and 871.
No price in
Probably
writing.
Matt.
No price is
It's
right this
probably
time.
Matt.
This
Last
is usually
season when
the biggest
Seahawks played the
gap.
Falcons in Seattle. How many total yards of offense were both teams combined? 695.
Ooh!
He's still champ.
Woohoo!
No, he's not.
New champ.
Will
He's
was
new champ, yeah.
But now, Matt's champ again.
Hey!
Congratulations, Matt. Order that
Sweet.
trophy, buddy.
Oh, hold on.
There it is.
There we go.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. 695. Pretty good total for both teams. That's almost
Yeah, it's not
350
bad.
each.
Who scored the most? Do we know?
It was like 300 395, I think, but I think they had the 395. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's a guess. I don't have it written down.
Well, that second half was just nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
It was.
we had them completely bottled up in the first half, and then they
I know.
broke
I
it
know.
open in the second.
Well, we're about to start our second half. This has been another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning edition of your 12-man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
World.
Of the world. We'll be back with the second half of the show right after this reading by the Reverend. Hey, Sex Pistols, take us out.
And now it's time for a reading of Seahawk Positivity with the Reverend Moses.
Yes, this is your self-appointed Reverend Moses from the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity, a reading from the book of the 2017 NFL season, chapter 10, verses 3 to 12. For it was then under the lights, where we were basking in the warm glow of Seahawk positivity, there came from the south a flock of birds from the land of peaches. They did then arrive in our land. They were red and black and did want to defeat us. Oh, but under the warm glow of Seahawk positivity, they did grow quite weak. The noise made unto them did make the ground tremble, their ears ache, and they did then fly away from our land broken and defeated. And there was no joy for dirty birds on that day. This is the word of Seahawk positivity.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Yes, the second half, the third quarter of episode 519 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. And now, as a public service to our listeners, we'd like to offer some useful advice on how you can find out if you or someone that you know or love may be or is becoming a Falcons fan. All right. The 12-Man Fan Jam Show proudly presents How to Tell If You're an Atlanta Falcon Fan. I know this is everyone's favorite part of the show.
Absolutely.
So let's get right into it.
Absolutely.
How to tell if you might be an Atlanta Falcon fan. So, for example, if your cell phone ringtone is MC Hammer's song Too Legit to Quit, you might be a Falcon fan. All right?
I actually remember that little hand.
You guys
thing
remember
they
that?
do.
Or
Yeah.
stuck in 1991.
You kids look that up. All right. If you have a hard time finishing anything, you might be a Falcon fan.
Ooh.
I'll let you go with that one as well.
Oh dear.
If your favorite haircut is the fade, you might be a Falcon fan. If you rise up but fall down quickly afterwards, you might be a Falcon fan.
Ouch.
And finally, if you believe that Matt Ryan wears number 2 because Jesus is number 1, you might be a Falcon fan.
If you go to school in Atlanta and for the first 3 quarters you get an A, but then all F's in the fourth, could be
You
a
might be a
Falcons
Falcon
fan.
fan. All right. Nice. All right. No more of that Falcon stuff. Let's see how healthy these teams are by turning to our own Dr. Dustin, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show injury report. Blech. Dr. Dustin, tell us the news.
Doctor, give me the news.
Will already did that. Did you want the news or the injury report?
I want a song. Doctor, tell me the news.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, I'm segueing into
It's
your
like
intro, man.
It's like a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Okay, that we do.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So injury report.
Did you not come to rehearsal, Dustin?
I was not at rehearsal.
Where the hell were you?
I was
Yes, folks, this is why we do not do these shows live.
Dustin, like,
Can you imagine this live?
Thursday night, I did my own show. Oh, congratulations. You know, we're doing our show tonight. But
Yeah. Anyways, injury report. It's a little different this week because they still have another practice. Nobody's necessarily officially ruled out or anything other than like Sherman and Procise, obviously. But so the guys that made the injured list this week for this practice or for today so far is Luke Jokel. Still got his knee. I don't think he's gonna be back. Dwayne Brown, he's got his ankle. They haven't said one way or the other if he's playing or not. I'm hoping he will.
Yeah.
Cam, this one's a concern. Cam is a concern because they are really, really quiet about this whole thing with Cam Chancellor.
Yep.
And the injury that he had, typically you don't get carted off for a stinger.
Mm-hmm.
You walk off the field because that's in your upper body, but he got carted off. And that's a concern in itself just because of how that went down. I think the injury is probably more serious than what's being let on. And I noticed they stopped calling it a stinger on the report and it said it's a neck injury. So yeah,
not good.
That's a little nuance to be aware of. And then Jaron Reed's got a hamstring, and Michael Wilhoit calf muscle injury. But like I said, they haven't said for sure who's playing, who's not. So it's hard to know for sure.
I had heard that if Joko could make it when he finally does come back, which might be in a week or two, it sounds like he's on the back end of that, that they would put him back in at left guard, and then they would consider moving Pochik over to right guard, which is interesting.
Yeah, I would prefer that actually. Get a Bucci out of there.
I'm excited by that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see Brown and Jokel next to each other, and then you throw in our center who's actually played. He's good. He's a decent guy. Had a decent year last year. And then having a guard on the right side that isn't getting a penalty near as much as at the rate that Ibushi is. So hopefully
and
that
then
happens.
Moses' favorite player at right tackle.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's favorite.
Number 65, yeah.
I don't know if I want to say this is the bright side, but also Odiambo made the IR. So, good for him.
With his hands, something with his hands, right? So, pretty beat up. This time of year, I think everybody is, but it looks like Earl Thomas will be back.
Yep.
McDougal's going to play safety. That's what they brought him in for. I'm confident, again, you don't lose a Cam Chancellor like you don't lose Richard Sherman and just say everything's fine.
Right.
But, I'll take my chances with what's left. I mean,
the drop-off isn't as bad as it was last year, so that's good.
I agree.
And then you look at Atlanta, Julio Jones, he seems to be always injured at this point in his career. He's always got some kind of lingering injury. The last couple weeks, it's been his ankle. He hasn't practiced this week. We'll see if he practices tomorrow. I don't know what the plan is for him, but he is probably questionable if I had to guess. But I'm sure he'll play. I don't know if he'll play every play, but yeah. Devonta Freeman, that's interesting. He had a concussion. They haven't ruled him out for the game, but it's sounding like he's probably not going to play. And that's kind of a blessing in disguise for us.
Yes. Did he go through the protocol? Did he actually go in the tent and get seen by someone?
No, he walked in for a second and said, "I'm fine," and came back out.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, I didn't mention this because it was a non-issue. Russell Wilson had a jaw injury from that play. I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Almost broke it.
Yeah. And he had to wear this special mouthpiece to hold his jaw in place this week for the first couple days, and he was drinking out of a straw, all liquid diet. So I mean, that dude is tough.
Yes.
My wife, I told her that, and she's like, "And he went back in and played?" Like, well, yeah. I mean, his feet and his arm was fine, but it didn't affect his ability to throw. But yeah, that's still.
It would be interesting to see if he comes out and he has this great big headgear under his chin.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he might have something. Who knows? Yeah.
Or the old-fashioned hockey mask.
Yeah.
Andy Levitre for Falcons also has a knee injury, and waiting to see what happens with him. So it's kind of a weird kind of light injury report right now because we're playing on Monday.
Yeah, right. We don't know what's going on, but we know some big ones on both sides. So it's going to be interesting on both sides. I think both sides have some issues there.
Yeah.
And of course, we always have to take a look at what the weather is going to be for the game by turning to a guy living in Europe. It's time for the 12-minute Phantom Show weather report and fashion report with Matt from merry old England. Oh, Matt!
It's raining man.
Yes, thank you, Moses. So, here in merry old England, we have many old folk sayings and superstitions for predicting the weather. Proverbs like, red sky at night, shepherd's delight, or, if the cows lay down, rain falls down. So I asked Earl at the US National Weather Service, you remember Earl, if America has any similar sayings, and he said he had only heard of a couple. But the one that he suggested might be good for this upcoming game was, when the orange man rules with a Russian steer, the weather too will be cold and clear. So I'm predicting a clear game with temperatures of 46 degrees Fahrenheit or around 8 degrees centigrade. Now, turning to what to wear for this game, Thanksgiving week, a time for families to come together and give thanks for all the good things happening right about now. So it should be a rather short celebration for you lot over there at the moment. But we shouldn't forget the real meaning of Thanksgiving. So at this upcoming game, there really is only one outfit worth wearing. Yes, that's right. It's a 17th century English Puritan Christian right-wing fundamentalist, complete with a hat buckle and optional dysentery. For authenticity, do remember to try and conquer an entire continent by ruthlessly stealing land from a native population whilst compensating them with mass murdering weapons and syphilis.
And casinos.
Will do.
Now, as for me, if I was going to this game, there really is only one look for me this week, and that's a fully trimmed Thanksgiving turkey costume, complete with Gordon Ramsay shoving his hand up my backside to get at my giblets whilst viciously giving me a good stuffing. To add authenticity, I will be giving an occasional gobble gobble before visiting a downtown tanning salon to get that real authentic all over just roasted tanned look. That being said, it looks like it's going to be perfect Seahawks weather, so Moses, back over to you.
All right, well done. I hope no one goes dressed as a turkey, but somebody will.
Wow.
Oh, fantastic. Statsman Mark. How does the Seahawks win this game if what?
The Seahawks win this game as long as Matt has a rotisserie tan.
So get on that, Matt.
On it.
Boy, you know what? We're with the secondary, with everything shaken up a little bit. We win this game if we are able to, what would it be? A combination of a few sacks and a lot of pressures on Ryan. So a combination of 8 pressures and sacks, however you want to put it.
And we did that last year. We got to him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's reason to believe that a year later they probably can have a good chance of that happening again. Will Seahawks win this game if what?
If Mike Davis can give their moribund running attack a little bit of a boost.
Yes. Yeah, or somebody or something. Something's, some kind of running scheme or something has got to give here.
Will, is he slated to get the majority of the carries? I never know how many carries each guy's gonna get. It's like each guy gets 8 carries now.
Sounds like Rawls is supposed to be the guy, but Eddie Lacy's healthy now, so who knows?
I think we're going to see a pretty healthy dose of Mike Davis because I hope so. They're looking for somebody to provide.
They got to do something.
It's like Rawls doesn't want the job. I don't know what's going on with Rawls. Like mentally, it seems like he should be seizing this moment unless he's
trying
healthy.
too hard. We've said it before.
That's absolutely what it is. It is all mental with him because he thinks too hard. He thinks too much about it. All the instinct went away, and he just thinks too much. So he's tap dancing around. He doesn't hit the hole hard. And it's that's his problem. I know Matt's giggling.
That's the problem.
And like Yogi Berra said, 90% of the game is half mental.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got to hit that hole hard, right, Matt? Oh, God, we're 12. All right.
Yeah.
That being said, let's play. I think it's a good time to end the third quarter. All right.
That's plenty.
Before you say that, but hold on, can we also just say before you do that, penalties, people.
Oh,
penalties.
Yes. Oh my goodness. 16
None
to
of them.
12. Let's keep going down. Let's get below 10.
Yeah, well, that's asking a lot. But and then my reason that I had for them winning is I didn't bring it up purposely when we talked about how the Sherman being out changes the dynamics of the game. But I think the offense has to step up and look more like the Houston Texans game offense as opposed to a lot of the other offenses because at this point we're losing a lot of key guys on defense and we don't know how that's going to turn out, but we know what the offense is capable of and it's their time to step up and for Russell Wilson to really take a hold and show everybody who he is even more so than he has and really push this team forward, kind of take it on his shoulders. It's time. That's what we need.
Would you guys?
He's 82% of the total offense right now. So
would you guys be thankful if we got rid of Bevel and let Russell Wilson call his own game? I'd love to see that.
I wouldn't be opposed, honestly.
I'd be
would not
worth
cry.
giving it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and end the third quarter now.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
All right, coming up next, we're going to take all this info. Other info might be more helpful, and make our Seahawk Falcon game predictions. You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, because doing something else will make you blind. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Nobody cares.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Oh yes, it's time for the fourth and final quarter of the episode of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. In this quarter, we make our game score predictions, our prognostications, and of course, our game balls for the upcoming game. And you know, when we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons, we need some nice background music. So I think it's time to be too legit to quit, baby. All right, let's take a look at the numbers. By the way, this is on, are you ready for this? MC Hammer's greatest hits. Like, MC Hammer had a greatest hits.
Yeah, but that's just a single. So
It's like 3 songs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Too legit.
All right.
You gotta pray and can't touch this.
Pretty much.
Greatest
All right,
hit.
let's look at the numbers. Seattle's a 3-point favorite for our purposes, and the over-under is at 45.5. Disclaimer, these numbers have been presented for entertainment purposes only. We do not endorse betting on anything at any time. No tokens, nothing. Please don't take anything we say on this show ever seriously. All right. Our picks, let's start with Team 12. Jose said 27-24. Prognostication, Shaq Griffin gets a pick. Game ball to Tyler Lockett because we need quick strikes, because they're going to bring pressure every play, because we have no run game. He almost did it last game, only he got tackled before he could get in the open field. Okay. Tom, I have a bad feeling about this game, with it being the first game without Sherman and possibly Cam. I don't think we can withstand Atlanta's passing attack, not packing attack. It hurts to say this, but he has 28-14 Atlanta.
Ooh.
Julio to go over 100 yards receiving, and I don't think anyone will deserve a game ball. Woo!
Wow.
That's harsh.
Was he
down
Dark
on
days.
Tom?
Dark
Was-
days.
Somebody's having a case of the Mondays.
Dennis,
Somebody
was he,
boot him off of the site. What the heck?
We might have to go there.
Dennis, was he kneeling when he made this prediction?
Let's
Oh.
listen to this. Little Mo was a lot better. Little Mo said 27-7 Seattle. Seahawks with 4 sacks. Wilson game ball. Mark Ty Turner. A few things for me to consider. I will be at this game. Trying to break my 4-game losing streak of seeing them live.
Ooh.
There have
Somebody
That
kidnap Mark and keep him from the game.
3 have been
Yeah.
Russell's only loss at home for the season. The 4th was a previously mentioned Super Bowl 49. All right. I haven't seen the Hawks live on
Who
Monday Night
invited
Football
him?
since the team
Wait.
made its Monday night debut in '79 against the Jets. The Hawks were victorious. Seattle's also playing the Falcons for the first time since '79. We talked about that. That game is in Atlanta, and we got Everett Herrera on an amazing fake field goal. This will also be my first Hawks-Falcons game live since '76, which was our first ever home game victory at the Kingdome. His prediction is Hawks win 21-17, Russell 3 touchdown passes, and game ball to Dwight Freeney, who will have a critical sack late in the game to seal the victory. Okay.
Nice.
Mike Pascal, who is our leader right now. Seattle 23, Atlanta 22.
Oof.
Prognostication, Claiborne from Atlanta will sack Russell 2 times. And game ball to Russell. All right. Now for the too legit to quit. Posse. Mark. You're
Yes,
too
sir.
legit to quit, man. What you got?
What I got? Well, it's going to be really interesting because both teams, if Freeman is out for Atlanta, that changes the running game for them quite a bit, and we're still trying to figure out who's going to carry it for us. So I see a lot of passing attempts, which means I think it's going to be higher scoring than people think, even in November weather. So I am going to go Seahawks 27, Atlanta 23. I think Tyler Lockett will somehow, some way, even on wet turf, get a return touchdown in the game. And I am going to give my game ball. I'm going to follow our host lead and go Jimmy Graham.
All right. Done. Break it down. All right, Will.
Yes, sir.
What you got?
I have Seattle winning 31-27. My prognostication, well, I have two. The first one is my blood pressure will hit 200 at some point in this game.
Nice.
Man.
But no, my real prognostication is Russell Wilson has his second career 400-yard passing day, and I think we're going to need it. And I'm also going to go with Jimmy Graham as the game ball because, as I mentioned last week, we went from not being able to get him the ball in the red zone to not being able to get the ball to anybody else in the red zone.
Yeah.
So I think Graham will have a couple of big red zone scores here.
Yeah, I'm with you. Dustin, are you too legit to quit?
Oh, I'm too legit. Too legit to quit. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah.
All right.
So,
Hey, wait, what you got?
Who else is doing the hand motions when
I was really doing the hand motions.
Break it down.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of on the bandwagon with this whole thing being more of a high-scoring affair, like a couple of the other guys were. I think there's going to be a lot of passing in this one, and I think that Russell Wilson is going to end up throwing 5 touchdown passes, guys. 5 touchdown
Wilson,
passes.
5 touchdown passes.
I'll allow it.
Oh, hell yeah. Seahawks are going to win this game 42-35 because the Falcons are going to get theirs.
Wow.
It's a Monday night game, and it's going to be huge. And game ball is going to go to Russell for those 5 touchdown passes.
Well, when you talk about that, you talk about a big game. We got to change our tone here because if Russell throws 5 touchdowns, then there's only one thing you say to that, and that is that. And it's some Monday Night Football magic, baby. Let it happen. Oh, yeah. 42-35.
Yep.
Place will be rocking.
And on a side note, we get a rushing touchdown.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
That would be nice.
Who's going to do that?
Mike Davis.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll allow that too.
But you went with Russell 5 touchdown passes, right?
Yep.
Okay. Matt,
Hello.
are you too legit to quit?
Yes, of course. I think this is going to be Seahawks 24, Atlanta 17. I'm going to give my game ball to Doug Baldwin. And I think Doug will get 3 touchdowns.
Doug Baldwin with 3 touchdowns. Woo. All right.
Yeah. I was going to go for Jimmy Graham, but I'm just not that positive.
You're going to go for
make
Blair
you too
Walsh,
happy.
admit it.
I just can't. Oh, well, God, I'm never going to give a game ball to Blair Walsh. It's not going to happen.
All right, it's my turn. Oh, no. Poor Seattle, just beat up, and half their team's missing, and they only beat the Cardinals by 6 points. And look at all the Monday night games that they've lost under Pete Carroll. Oh, wait a minute. They've never lost a Monday night game under Pete Carroll? Oh. Well, in that case, hey, no Sherman, no Cam, no problem. Watch my game ball, Bobby Wagner. Wreak havoc on the Falcons like a ravenous dog on leftover turkey. Watch the defense get 5 sacks. That's right, 5 sacks for the Seahawks defense. And watch the Seahawks eat up all the delicious tears of their haters as they win by a final score of Seattle Seahawks 30, Atlanta Falcons 20. All right. Gentlemen, looks like it's time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man Fan Jam show to a sad close. We are so glad you decided to waste some time with us, and we hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned something. We learned a lot on this show, didn't we? We learned
too much about Matt.
Too much.
Well,
Nothing
we
wanted to learn.
Don't read the Daily Mail.
Never.
Matt is off his tits.
True.
Don't eat jacket potatoes. They'll make you sick in the Mercedes.
Oh, I disagree.
We learned that mayo is the antichrist of condiments. We learned that Matt knows his sacks. Dustin doesn't like his wife's TV watching habits, and we also learned that we might never ever ask Matt again what he's thankful for. So,
Hey, what about
I
me?
think that needs to be written as like the rules on the Facebook page. Do not ask
Yes.
Matt.
what about you,
Anything.
Zordy?
I missed my dedication. What was it?
Oh well, we learned that you won. You know how to win tokens when you bet on Detroit. That's what we learned about you.
Ah, there you go. Very nice. Do you have change for a nickel?
Not yet. So on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our news hound Shadowhawk Will, Statsman Mark, Dustin as the Beaver, Roger Goodell, Mozart Little Mo, Steve Bartkowski, Jerry Glanville, MC Hammer,
Chuck
Buddy
Muncie,
Hackett, Sheila McRae, Art Cardi. Good night, everybody. Go Hawks.
Go
Hawks.
I've told you I don't have change for a nickel. Now just go along.
All right, next time.
Are you ready for some football?
I think I'm ready for some football. You ready for some football?
Happy Thanksgiving, America.